Hey, what's up, guys? PJ here. I got my Proline body today that I'm gonna stick on my Element Enduro. I'm a big Toyota fan, so I got the Proline Toyota Hilux body. This is a 1985. It's just like almost like the 1987 that I used to have back in the day. I drove that thing for over a decade till it died, and then in 2003 I had a Tacoma, which I unfortunately wrecked in a winter storm. So I miss them, and I want a little one. So we're going to throw a Toyota body on there. But some of you guys, you don't know how to paint a body, so I'm going to show you. This is like the no frills, quick and easy way. You know, there's a lot of tutorials out there I've seen even when I was learning to do this, and a lot of them, they show you how to use liquid masks and airbrushing and all that kind of crap. We're just going to use regular old spray cans. So first thing is the body. This is a clear Lexan body. They usually come in one piece. This one comes in two because it's specifically a crawler body, and some guys just like to run just the cab with a cage on the back. So that's why this one has these in here to put it together. But most of the bodies you're going to buy for your racers or your bashers or anything like that is going to be one piece. With a clear Lexan body, you basically want to paint the inside of it. That's to stop your paint from scratching when this thing tumbles and rolls over and scrapes and stuff like that. You're not going to screw your paint job up. For crawlers specifically, some guys like to paint the outside of the body just for more realism because it gives it more of a matte look. And what they'll do is they'll spray the inside with a mix of silver and like a rust copper color. So when the paint scratches off from their turnovers and stuff, it'll almost look like a real vehicle because the rust and the silver comes through the paint job. So depending on what your use is, you know, you can paint it either way. It's just they generally look a little nicer and come out a little nicer if you paint the inside, and your paint job's going to last longer. So paint for these things, you want to use a polycarbonate paint. These are specifically formulated to adhere to Lexan better than, you know, other paints would. If you use like a lacquer or something like that, it's not going to work real well. You're not going to get a nice, clean, even coat. It's going to run on you. So you want to stick with that. I use the Tamiya color line. I've used these on all of my cars. You can tell you're getting the right kind if the model starts with a PS. It's a PS, and then the number is the actual color. So as long as you're getting a PS, you're good. You don't have to get Tamiya. These cost like $5-6. Some of the like fancier colors, the metallics and stuff, can cost a little more, but this is more than enough to cover 2 to 3 bodies. So even though they're small cans, they go a long way because you only use light coats and they cover very well. Duratrax makes some bigger cans. They're about $8 to $10. Pactra makes some. Proline has their own line of paints as well. So just you can get whatever you want. Just make sure you get a 4 polycarbonate. So as far as paint goes, you're going to also want to get the color that you want to do the vehicles. Like this one is going to be a red with black on the fenders and a little silver on the bumpers. But when you're done with your paint job, you're also going to want a backing color. And the 3 main backing colors used are white, black, and silver. The differences are, what it basically does is when you're taking your body on and off and everything all the time, your body posts are scraping in here, the backing kind of protects your actual paint job that you did. So you want to back it with something. And backings can also change the color of the paint you're using. Like this metallic red, if you back this with white, it's going to be really bright red, like a candy red, and it's going to really pop and look bright. If you do it with a black, which is what I'm going to do on this because I'm trying to match the color of my Tacoma, it's going to darken it. It's going to it's also, because this is a metallic, I prefer using blacks on metallic anyway. But it is going to change the color of your vehicle. The silver is kind of an in-between. It's going to keep almost like basically the color of the cap. It's not going to make it bright and pop. It's also not going to darken it on you. So this is kind of like the middle ground. Another thing I like to do with my cars is even if it's a bright color and I'm backing it with white, I'll show you on my TLR buggy. Let me move this for a second. Sorry, I'm not going off on a tangent here, but I just want to show you this. Like, this is a really bright fluorescent yellow, and I have a lot of white on this. So what I did was I painted the white, I painted the fluorescent yellow, and then I back that with a white to keep it nice and bright so it pops. And then after I was done with that, when I painted the black, I did the entire backing in black. And another benefit of that, one reason why I like doing that, is when the car is running on the track or just, you know, wherever, when you look inside of it, the inside of the car is black. It's not white. It doesn't really stand out. It just looks a little nicer in my opinion, and I just prefer that. That's a personal choice. But you don't have to do that. But just to let you know, you can back a bright color in white and then spray the black over it, and you're not going to mute the color. After paint, you need some tape if you're going to do multiple colors, or because you're going to have to mask things off. Such as this one, I'm going to have to mask off these fenders here when I spray the red. Generally speaking, you want to go lighter colors first and then do your darker colors afterwards. It's just easier to do. But some people like doing, you know, the main color first and then the highlight colors. It's really up to you. As long as you mask things properly, it doesn't really make a big difference, as far as I know. So this is Scotch 3M painter's tape. There's different brands out there. There's Duck brand. There's Frog tape. I just really prefer the 3M Scotch. I've used the other stuff before, and this is the stuff that's always worked the best for me. There's also, Tamiya also makes this masking tape. You can get it for like $5 or $6 in this little dispenser, which is kind of a waste of money. You don't really need it. I usually end up cutting these with a razor anyway. But the refills, this is $2. And the reason that I use these is I use this where I separate the colors. Because it's a little easier to go along this line, especially in here on the bumper. It's very easy to follow that line with the thin tape where the colors are going to separate than it is with that big blue bulky stuff. It's just difficult to get around the curves and whatnot. It's also good for little stuff, like I'm going to mask out these headlights to keep them clear because I'm eventually going to put an LED light kit in here. So little things like that, this is really nice for. Not necessary, but helpful. And for $2, and you can get it anywhere you order the paints anyway, or usually hobby shops that have the paints have that as well, or you know, a similar brand. So I would recommend getting it. Also, if you look on my TLR, that's basically what I use to do these stripes with. I just put that masking tape there, and then, you know, masked off the rest of the area I was spraying, sprayed the yellow, peeled that off, left those there. And then when I was all done, I just peeled them up and did all the black. And that made the nice little separator lines. So anyway, getting off track here. So you got your body, you got your paint, you got your tape. You're going to need a couple tools. You're going to need something to cut the body out with, because this is going to come like all one piece molded with a skirt. And you're going to have to cut it out. So you can use a really sharp X-Acto knife. Or you can use a pair of scissors. This is Lexan body scissors. These are really nice because they're nice and short. You can get around curves very easily. And also you'll notice they have a curved blade. The reason I think that they have that, I don't know if it's the real reason, but when you're cutting with them, there's always, the tips of your scissors are always away from the body. Because as you're cutting, if you're cutting with a straight scissor, or even if it's curved inwards, like even if you're going around this curve, you want the curve out. Because as you're going around, if you're doing it, I hope you can see this on the camera, if you're doing it this way, as you're making your cuts, you can make little cut divots into the body, and that's just going to cause a stress point that's just going to crack your body. And I mean, these things aren't cheap, so you don't want cracks in your body. So Lexan scissors. The next thing you want is, or probably will want, is this is called a body reamer. And this is what you use to make the mounting holes for your mounting posts. You just kind of push it in and turn it, and it makes nice clean holes for you. You can use a drill bit or something like that. This just makes it really easy. And they're pretty inexpensive. If you go on eBay, and this is Dubro brand, Dubro. If you go in eBay and type in Dubro body reamer or Lexan body scissors, this is going to come up. I think I paid $13 for the set, and I've done at least 6 or 7 bodies with these, and they're still going strong. So they last really well. This is still really nice and sharp. Haven't failed me yet. So you also want a Sharpie. Doesn't have to be this thin, but you want something so you can mark your body holes. We'll get into that in a minute. Another thing you may consider is this is called a burnishing tool. Again, this is unnecessary. I just happened to pick one up. It comes with a couple different tips. And back to when you're masking, if you're going to be masking a lot of stuff, this is really nice to just get in there and really push the tape up against the body. So you can really get a nice seal with your tape, because you don't want paint running underneath, especially where there's little curved areas like this. Again, though, this is pretty unnecessary. It's just convenience. You can use your fingernail and just get in there and push really hard with your fingernail, and it does the same thing. Like I said, this is just something I had from another project, and it's convenient. If you have one, they're kind of nice to have around for this kind of stuff. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. That's pretty much all you need for tools and stuff to get started. So you got your body, you got your paint, you got your tape, you got your marker scissors, and body reamer. That's all you need. Okay, so next step is you're going to want to cut your body out first before you do any painting. And there's a couple reasons for this. Reason number one is if you paint your body and then you're cutting it out, you can scrape the inside of it with the scissors or your razor or whatever you're doing, or if you're holding it, you can scrape it with your nails or something. If it's not completely dry yet, you can screw your paint job up. You don't want to screw your nice paint job up. So don't worry about overspray. You have this protective film on it. So cut your body out first. The other reason you want to do that is because you're going to have to line this up on your truck. Let me grab it. So you're going to have to line this up on your truck to mark your body mounts. So if you got paint on it, you're not going to be able to see where the hell they are. So once again, that's where the marker comes in. You're going to line it up, get it where you want. If it's cut out, you can see where your wheel wells are. You can even check to see if, once you have it on the mounts, if you're going to get wheel rub or anything like that anywhere, and you may have to trim a little more. You don't want to have to do all that stuff when the paint's done. So cut your body first. So 1, so you don't scratch your paint job. 2, so you can actually see where your mounting holes need to be. And the third thing with trimming your body is you want to keep the extra Lexan that you cut off. There's a couple reasons for this. 1, you can use this for stuff. You can make little guards, wheel well guards or mud flaps or something like that on buggies. They're really good for making rear mud guards on your arms. The other reason is, like I was saying, with your backing. If you're not sure what color you want to back with and you have each one, I could spray this with red and then wait for it to dry, spray a strip of white, a strip of black, a strip of silver, turn it over, see what the actual color is going to look like, and then pick and choose what backing I want to use. So there's a lot of little uses for this. Also, you can use it as a test piece. If you want to try something like a splatter effect, which you do by spraying paint on a toothbrush or a paintbrush, and then just kind of go and thwap. You have to do the sound effect when you do that. You have to go thwap, and you get a nice splatter effect. So you could use it to test that, to see, to practice, to see what it's going to look like with the color, whatever. We might actually do some of that on here. I'm not sure yet, but keep your Lexan. I think that's about it for getting started. Once you have your holes marked, we're going to do that I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to mark my holes. I'm going to ream my holes and get this all where I want it to be. And then the next step is going to be, let me move my truck. The next step after you cut it out is going to be applying your masks. Well, actually, the step before that is you're going to want to clean your body. There is a release agent that they put on this when it comes off so it comes off the mold easy. And there's also going to be, if you see, there's little like specks and everything from when I cut it and I ream these holes out here. So after you ream your holes, before you get masking or painting or anything, you want to wash your body out. Just use a paper towel and some dish soap, just squirt it in there, rub it all around, get it nice and clean, and then rinse it out with some warm water. Make sure it's fully rinsed. And then if you want to get rid of the little droplets that are in there, once again, you can use the thwap method and just kind of thwap it really hard and try to shoot them out of there. Or use like a lint-free cloth or something. Like even in the directions for the Pro Line body, it says to use a paper towel. I don't recommend it because you can get little lint pieces and stuff like that in there from the paper towel, and that will like get stuck in your paint. So but make sure you wash your body. A lot of people skip that step. Another thing you can do, it's not necessary, but if you have the patience to do it and you know you're kind of OCD about getting the best possible paint job you can take some light sandpaper and just scuff the inside, not in the clear areas where your windows and such are going to be, but anywhere where there's going to be paint, just scuff the area really lightly, and it's just going to help your paint adhere a little better. Once again, not 100% necessary, but a lot of guys do like doing that, so that's something you could do. Make sure you do that before you wash it, because you're going to have, you know, some debris in there from doing the scuffing. So once you have it washed, then you're going to start your mask. And this is, I don't know if you can see this well. There are lines on this. This comes with the body. They come with most bodies. These are called window masks. And what they are is they're just basically stickers in the shape of the window that you're going to put on the inside where all of your clear windows are going to be. And then you just leave them on there and you spray all your paint, and then when you're all done with your paint job, you peel your masks up and you have nice clear windows. If you don't have window masks that come with your body for whatever reason, you can use the painter's tape and the masking tape, whichever, to make your own. Just kind of lay it in there and you know, mark it out. It's kind of easy if you use a marker and go along the top. And another thing with this protective film, you can draw all you want on this because it's all going to come off. So if you want to paint your design on the side, you know, so you can follow with your tape, or have to make window masks, anything like that, it's really easy to do that way. So you want to get your window masks on. As far as masks go too, I just use the tape method to mask off my areas. Like I said, we're going to do the red first, so I'm going to have to tape off these fenders, the bumpers, the headlights. We're going to put window masks on, the rear fender and a bumper. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to do around the windows here. It's pretty small. We'll see how I do. I might try to keep that black, but we'll see. That's another handy dandy reason you get the little masking tape. One thing I will mention while you're masking your colors off, be careful if you have to use an X-Acto knife to cut inside the body. This is another reason. Some people use what's called liquid mask. You pour it inside your body and you swoosh it all around and everything, and it makes it really easy to do cool designs, but you're cutting into your body with an X-Acto knife. And if you're not really, really gentle with that, and you do a really light cut, you're actually scoring the body. And when you have a score in plastic, it's just, you're asking for it to crack. That's just another stress point you're going to put on your body where it's going to crack. Okay, so I've gone off on a huge tangent, and I've rambled quite a bit. So, like I said, I'm going to mark my holes. I'm going to adjust this to get my body posts where I want them. We'll see if we have to do any trimming on the fenders. And then I'm going to go wash this thing and mask it, and we're ready for our first coat. And I'll be back. Alright guys, we're back. As you can see, I got the body taken apart again just because it's going to be a little easier to spray that way. But my tape is sticking. I've got it all masked off. Everything that's taped is going to be black. You can see where I have the thin Tamiya masking tape going around the curves and such, just where the colors meet, and then I went over it with the blue to fill in the areas. Like I said, it's not the fanciest job, but it doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to cover what you're going to be spraying. I also have the window masks on. It's okay if you have air bubbles in the inside because you're just worried about the edges. You want to make sure those are pressed down really well when you spray, and even check them between your coats once they dry, because this tape can come up a little bit. As the paint's drying, it can lift it up a little. So make sure before you do your second coat, you check all your tape mask again. This stuff is unnecessary, but I just threw some little vinyl transfers on the inside there. I got one on the back, and I also did a quick splatter effect with the black. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but this you could do. You just take a toothbrush. As you can see, here's my toothbrush here. You just spray your paint directly on the end of the toothbrush, and then just kind of fling it at the body, and you'll get like these cool little splatter effects. Try it on some extra Lexan first if you're not comfortable doing it on your body right away, but I mean, you can see there's some spots where it didn't come out too great, but it'll look nice when I get the red on it. Anyway, I'm still waiting for this to dry. Then we're going to take it outside and we're going to do our first coat of red. What you want to do on the first coat, you want to work in very light coats, and you always want to keep your can moving when you're spraying. You never want to sit there and, oh, I want to get in this crevice and sit there and shoot it, because it's just going to pool up and it's going to run and it's going to look terrible. So you just want to get a nice light coat, and if you miss spots in the crevices or whatever, you'll get them on a second or a third coat. I can't stress that enough. Work in nice light coats. Always keep your can moving, and we'll go outside and do that as soon as this is dry. So I'll be back. Alright guys, we're going to do the first coat here. You should be doing this outside or in a well ventilated area, not like in your basement, but I'm just doing this because I want to show you how to put the first coat on, and I'm going to finish the rest outside. But for now, we're going to spray some red. We're going to do our first coat. We're just going to go nice and light, and we're going to always keep the can moving. You don't have to get real close with it. And really, that's it. Like I said, nice and light. We're not going to go real heavy on the first coat. We're not going to worry about light spots, or you can see in the little crevices here maybe. I don't know how well you can see that. It didn't really cover real well, but you just want to get a nice base coat on, so the rest of your coats are going to stick well. So we're going to let this sit this aside and let it dry, and then we're going to take it outside and we're going to do the same thing probably about 3 or 4 more times, especially with this metallics, just to get a nice cover. And then I'll meet you back here when we're ready to base coat. Okay guys, so we've done 2 or 3 coats of the red. I think I did 2 coats on this, and it seems to be covered well enough. So you can see the paint job is starting to take shape here. I pulled my masks off, which now we're going to do our base coat of black, because all this stuff's going to be black anyway. If you were to do like a different color or a 3 color, you're going to want to remask off the parts. Like say we were going to do this body part like a silver or something, we would leave these masked for the black, pull that off and do the silver before you pulled off and did your backing color. Also, another thing is I could have left that on and backed this red in a silver or a white to make it, you know, keep it nice and bright, but I actually want it a little darker than it is, so I'm just going to back the whole thing in black, so I just pulled all of my tape off. So we're going to do the whole backing in black. It's going to darken this up, give it a nice protective coat, and it's also going to color our sides and our fenders, as well as the back here. This bed, it's gonna be black like a bed liner, as well as the fenders, so we're just gonna do a full black backing here. I just put a little piece of tape on this outside because when you're pulling your masks up, if any of the tape you know, is sticking to the outside, be careful when you peel it off, because I pulled off a big piece of the protective film, and when I'm spraying the black, I don't want any overspray on the outside, because if this paint is on the outside, it's gonna have like a matte look. When you pull this off, you'll see when I'm done, it's gonna look nice and shiny and glossy. So I don't want to get any paint on the area without the protective film just yet. So now we're gonna start the black. We'll start with the back here, and again, you're just gonna do light coats. You don't want to put it on thick. You don't want your paint to run. So we're just gonna do a nice light coat, fully covering it. Again, you should be doing this outside in a well ventilated area. I'm just again doing the first coat down here to show you guys what it looks like. But see, I'm always just a nice light coat. I'm always moving the can, and that's it. Well, let's get our sides here. That's it. If I do any more than that, I'm getting a little too thick. And all that'll be covered on the second coat. So that's good for now on the first coat for that. Now we're going to do the inside of our body, or cab rather. Oh, and I forgot to pull the masks off on my windows here. I just wanted this little strip to be black. Trying not to pull up the window mask here. That's another thing. Be careful when you're pulling up tape in the inside, because you don't want to pull up the existing tape either. But you get the idea. We're just doing a nice light coat, nice and easy, and that's it. I'm gonna finish the rest of this outside. And I'll meet you back here when I'm done. Alright guys, so our last coat, backing seems dry now. So we're gonna peel off the window masks. An easy way to do this, if you have an X-Acto knife, you want to be careful not to scrape your paint job, of course, but you just get there, end of there, with an X-Acto knife and just kind of peel your corner up. Getting that at the wrong angle. Just kind of get a corner, peel her on up. You just want to go nice and slow. You wanna, if you notice, you wanna pull along the line. Like, I don't want to go this way and keep pulling it that way. I want to pull this along the line, because otherwise you might pull your paint up if it's still not completely dry. So you always want to pull along the line. There we go. There's our nice clear windshield. Let's get these side ones out. Alright, I'm not going to make you watch me do all this, so be right back. Alright, so we got our window masks all pulled off. We got our nice clear windows. We got our headlights masked out. I'm going to eventually get light buckets for this. I'm really happy with the way this guy came out. I just had one big oops, and I'm blind as a bat, and when I had this thing on the truck, this totally looks centered, but I was wrong, and you can see my holes once I painted it are way off center, which put the truck at a little bit of an angle. It still looks fine on the truck, but because it's a crawler and my wheels come up really far to the articulation, it was really rubbing bad on this corner. So I kind of had to trim a lot, and I basically lost the fake bumper in the body here. But I don't really care because I have an actual bumper on my truck. It just showed there's a little space there. But other than that, I'm really happy with how this came out. You know, I'm not a professional, but hopefully this helped you guys. This is my favorite part of any body. When you're all done, you get to peel this protective layer off and really see what your paint job looks like. So let's get this off here. And this is going to take off all your overspray and all your mistakes and everything like that. And this thing is just going to shine on you. There we go. So hopefully the camera is showing this, but look how nice and shiny that body is. And it just looks so much nicer once you get the film off. Oh, there's an old piece right there. Gotta make sure you get it all. So there she is. Let me get the protective film off the bed here, and then I guess we'll put it together and get it on the truck. I may do another little trick for crawlers. Just for like a nice little realistic look. What some people do is, let me get this off. Okay, so it's all put together. The last thing some guys want to do before you put a crawler body together like this is bed liners usually have like a matte plastic look to them. If you're really going for like a scale look, the fenders too, you can mask off the outside of the body. You know, this whole area here, of course, before you put it back on, and spray the outside with your black. I'm not going to do that because, one, I don't really care how scale it looks, and two, I kind of got low on black. I wasted a whole lot like practicing and trying to do this splatter effect. I wasted a whole lot of paint doing that. So keep that in mind. If you do a splatter effect, you're going to waste a lot of paint. But what that'll do is because this is showing through the Lexan, it's giving it that really shiny glossy look. And that if you spray it on the outside, it'll give you that nice dull matte finish that a real plastic bed liner would look like. Again, I don't really care, and I'm low on black. I'm not buying another can just to do that, but it's an option. Some guys will do it, and like I said, they'll do it on just the fenders as well to give it that plastic look, which, you know, my Toyota had, Butterfingers. So now there's two more steps we can do with this. One is, of course, stickers. You know, we're going to put our grill on and, you know, our rear lights. I'm going to leave the headlights off because I am going to, like I said, get a light bucket kit and put some actual headlights in here. And I don't really care about, I have a spare set of headlights. I didn't want to buy a whole new light kit, so I didn't really care about the rears. If I need to, I can always cut them out and just put the light buckets in with a shield on top. So, I mean, it's still an option, even though I didn't leave room for it. But right now, I'll just throw the stickers on. So, besides decals, the other thing you can do is reinforce the body. I am going to do that in a couple spots. How you do that is... Where is it? you take this stuff right here. This is drywall tape. It's slightly sticky on one side. And you're just going to take this and you're going to cut little pieces and you're going to put it in mainly sharp corners like this. You know, kind of wherever you think you're going to take an impact, like, you know, probably in the front here. Like I said, up in the roof here because this is going to roll over. Probably around your body holes as well, your mounting body holes. You're going to take little pieces and you're just going to kind of stick them in there. And then you're going to take some shoe goo. Oh, I'm getting low. Got to get a new bottle. You're going to take some shoe goo, stick it on a popsicle stick, and just smear it over the fiberglass tape. And then you're just going to let it sit, and that's going to get really hard, and it's going to strengthen that corner. This is an old Rustler body I did a while ago. But you can see this was a basher, so I really went to town on it. This is going to add weight to your vehicle, but like I said, you can use it sparingly in just little spots where, you know, like I said, I did this whole front area because I knew I was going to be taking a lot of impacts on jumps and stuff. And that's really going to strengthen your body. I had this roll laying around. I have no idea how much this stuff costs, but it's relatively inexpensive, and it's way cheaper than a new body when it's cracking all the time. Shoe goo is, I think it's $6 for like a tube like this. And even if you just put shoe goo on its own, or if your body does crack, this is really good to have on hand because you can fill in the cracks with it, and it's going to keep it together really well. I cracked my rear wing on my TLR buggy, and you can see, like, I just put a little shoe goo on there, and it's like nothing happened. So this stuff is really handy to have around. So okay, I'm gonna put some of this on. I'm gonna strengthen the body a little bit in some choice areas. I'm gonna throw some decals on it, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the truck, and we'll be all done. Alright guys, so we got our decals on, we got our door handles, we got our front grille. I don't know if you can see that. I'm at a weird angle here under the camera. We got our rear tail lights. I didn't go crazy with the decals. I just put a little zombie outbreak response team on the back there, and a little Element Enduro sticker on the side window there, and my little handicap symbol. The last thing I'm going to do on this is, like I said, I'm going to reinforce the body. I already started this, but I figured I would show you guys how to do this in case you've never done it before. As you can see, I just used little pieces of the drywall tape. You don't want to go crazy with this because when this hardens, it is going to add weight. Especially up here in the roof, because you don't want to add weight where you're going to tip your car over. Some guys, they'll take Gorilla Tape for their basher bodies and just Gorilla Tape the whole inside. That's going to add a ton of weight to your body. If you're just bashing and launching the thing off ramps, that's fine. But if you're crawling or you're racing and you don't want to add a lot of weight to your body, but you do want to strengthen it, this is the way to go. Just little pieces in the trouble spots and in sharp corners like this, or places, again, in the front here, you see I just have like the rounded corner there, you know, where that's going to take some impacts. And right up in here, can you see that? Okay. Right up in here, you know, where this is going to roll over onto the roof and whatnot. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a popsicle stick, you're going to take your shoe goo, you're just going to squeeze it a little until the cap kind of fills up there. And then you're just going to scoop it with your popsicle stick and just get a little bead, just a little bit at a time. And then you're just going to stick it, take it, and you're just going to kind of stick it on there. Just kind of paint it on. Sound like Bob Ross. You just want to kind of paint it on. Our happy little body. And our happy little truck. You just want, again, take another little bead. Just kind of mush it on there, paint it on. See, my earlier stuff's already starting to dry on this stick, but we can still use it. Another little bead. and just kind of spread it on. You just need a nice thin coat. You don't need it real thick and goopy. See, this is like kind of too much here. And it's on the inside of the body, so no one's going to see it, so who cares what it looks like, right? And there you go. I'm going to do this last little piece and then the back. And we'll be done with that step. Alright guys, and there she is. All done. Sitting pretty. It's a little crooked in the front there, but oh well. Overall, I'm happy with how she came out. So, thanks for watching. I know this was kind of a long video, longer than I expected it to be, but like I said, it's just, I was painting it, so I figured I'd show you guys how I do it. I hope this helps somebody. I don't monetize this channel, so I just kind of do it for fun. So, I mean, if you found the video helpful, you liked watching it, whatever, throw me a subscribe. If not, I don't really give a shit. So, either way, like I said, I hope this, if this helped one person, then I'm glad I did it. So, talk to you guys soon. Bye.